Hey there, I'm just going to review what Cholula and I worked on while she stayed with me. So we kind of divided up her training into a number of different days. So here's one day where we're at the park and my brother and his dog are here as well, which is great. So we're going to practice recalling away from another dog, and this is a dog she was previously playing with. So now they're buds as well. And then we're going to practice kind of walking parallel with each other. So here, the other dog is not too far away, probably just like a few feet away, just over there. And we're just practicing having them both settle and focus on us while the other one's in the same proximity. So in the beginning, you may know she was kind of running up to him and I was just calling her away. So doing some nice recall practice away from him. And now we're just settling and focusing in close proximity. So then we're going to start walking, and we're kind of walking parallel. So I have her in heel position, and then he's kind of walking along as well. He doesn't have nearly as good of a heel as Cholula does, which can make it all the more distracting for her because the puppy's kind of wilding out. But you can see she's doing a really good job keeping pace with me and checking in with me as we continue walking. So I'm going to be reinforcing her for checking in and walking with me. If she does get distracted and goes towards him, I'm just going to call her away. And if she is having trouble, that also tells me that maybe she needs a little bit more space. So upon calling her away, we might also move away a little bit as well. But actually, the longer we go, the easier time she has. And you can see she starts to just stay right with me and not being at all distracted by the other dog. And amazingly, at this point, the other dog is also ahead of us, which can usually be pretty tempting for dogs to want to move ahead and go see the other dog that's there. So it's really nice to see that she's doing a nice job staying with me. We're going to go ahead and remove the other dog from the situation because I want to see if we can also just do some polite greetings with the people. So I'm going to have her swing in the heel position, make sure she can check in with me. Here I'm going to do a quick call away from the other dog while the other dog gets in the car. That was a wonderful recall on her part. So we're going to wait for the other dog to get in the car, and then I'm going to see if we can do some polite greetings. So I'm going to have her swing in the heel position and then go say hi to the person and then call her back so that she doesn't have the opportunity to jump. So swing in the heel position, have her check in with me, go say hi, and then call her back. Now ultimately we would repeat this a few times so she has a few opportunities to go say hi, and then we would make it a little bit harder by starting to add in some pets. But for now, it was great to see that she could just maintain a connection with me and check in with me while there was other people and dogs there. So I'm going to go ahead and switch her to a long line so we can work on some recalls. Now, since the other dog is now gone, distractions have gone down, so I'm going to put our distance up. So you may have noticed earlier when we were working on that recall, she was just on her set, 5 foot each. So there wasn't much distance to those recalls, but there was a big distraction of another dog. And so now we don't have that big dog distraction. We just have normal park smell distractions. So I have her on a longer leash so that we can practice recall from a farther distance. And I'm going to be using her name recall, so her Cholula here, as well as some hand touches. So she does really well on this day with this exercise. We practice a bit of recall, and then she decides that she'd rather just kind of stay at pace with me. So I'm able to get some nice usage walking, even though we were more focused on recall, I'm still going to reinforce those nice check-ins and that nice usage walking as she offers that behavior. So then on another session, we're going to practice waiting at the door. So I know when y'all had some trouble with recall before, it was after she escaped. So the first thing is that we just want to see if we can increase her waiting at the door. So I'm going to have her in a down. I'm going to say wait. I'm going to then move towards the door and gradually open the door, having her wait. I'll reinforce her whenever she's able to wait. And if she's not able to wait, then I'm just going to say whoops and shut the door. And then even when I do release her with that free and a beckoning motion to move out, it's still, I don't want it to be a free-for-all. So I am then going to call her back to me. Now, just because the door is opening doesn't mean that we're all going out. So sometimes I am going to not release her out the door. I'll instead just make as if I'm going to get a package and then coming back in. So that way it doesn't automatically mean that we're eventually going to go out. I also wanted to practice eaving because I know I mentioned she was definitely having some trouble when I left. And I know she's done this kind of off and on at home, but definitely after a day with me, if I left, she was doing a lot of vocalizing upon me leaving. Now, once I got out of sight of the window, she settled down pretty quickly and was able to just settle in the house and in the living room. But the initial departure was really hard, and even in the house, if I had separated by a barrier, like a baby gate or a door, this could give her some distress. So I also wanted to just practice some of these departure cues. So me going out the door and coming back in, me acting as if I'm going to leave, but then coming back. And this is just a good way of desensitizing her to these departure cues so that they hold less value than they usually would. So just because I'm making it look like I'm leaving, it doesn't mean that I am. I might just be coming right back. And this can be a good first step to some of that departure distress that she's been showing, or that separation distress that she's been showing initially upon me leaving. We're also going to practice some recall at my house and with one of my other dogs. So my other dog is in this video as well, and they like to go out and play together, so she's going to be a nice distraction, or I was hoping that my other dog would be a nice distraction. The only kind of issue is that my other dog also wants a treat for recall, so you're going to see both of them coming back to me. But this can really still be good practice for Cholula because she's learning that they can be running around and playing. And then if Cholula was to have some hesitation about coming back, my dog probably still would to get that treat. And then Cholula will follow suit. So it works as a good way of practicing recall, even if it's not exactly as distracting. So I wanted to practice her recall in just various situations, on and off leash. It occurred to me that, especially since she is having trouble after she gets out of the house, that it might be really good to practice her recall right outside the house or right outside the door, just so she can practice like coming back onto the patio. That's one of those things where placement and situation can make a big difference. So next time I see her, we might practice some recall just right outside the house and on that patio. And then we are going to head back inside to practice some more of that separation. On another day, we went over to the park. So this is the field of bluebonnets, and you can see it's really pretty. Half the reason I wanted to take this video was just to show off this beautiful field of wildflowers, but we're also going to practice some recall. So this also has my other dog in it as well. And so you can see added distraction, but also kind of an added help because she's going to encourage Cholula to come all the way back to me as well. So I'm just going to have them on their long leashes, going off to sniff, and then I'm going to recall either with her name recall or with a hand touch and mark and treat once she gets to me. So she's doing really well with the recall in these different situations, which is another reason why I want to work on it in front of your house. And just a note, I didn't get good video of it, so it's not going to be included in this recap, but we also did a lot of work with her settling on the other side of a barrier or settling when we were separated by a barrier. So I would be on one side of a baby gate or an X pen, and as she showed signs of settling, I would toss her some treats. And that was just because she was having some big feels about that separation or that departure. So I wanted to add in that practice as well. But I unfortunately just didn't get good video of it, so I'm not really able to include it here. I know she's been doing a lot better with that at home, so it might just be situational dependent.